Every Halloween, parents are warned to check their kids' candy.
But did you know that warning began due to a tragedy in the Houston area 50 years ago today? Matt Doherty is live with this story at a home linked to it all. Matt?
Yeah, it was a rainy Halloween just like this one when an 8-year-old boy was poisoned after he went trick-or-treating. His killer turned out to be the man you would least expect. On October 31st, 1974, Ronald Clark Obryan took his son and daughter and a few of their friends trick-or-treating in this neighborhood in Pasadena. 50 years later, not a whole lot has changed, but what is different is what happens when kids get home.
We check my kids' candy. That's just a thing you do.
Charles Lee and his wife and 3 kids have lived at this Pasadena home for only a couple of years, until we told him he never knew his house was associated with one of Texas's most notorious crimes.
Ronald Clark Obryan, also known as the man who ruined Halloween, was convicted of killing his 8-year-old son Timothy on Halloween of 1974 with potassium cyanide-laced pixie sticks in order to claim life insurance money. On October 31st of 1974, Ronald Obryan and a neighbor took their 4 children trick-or-treating in Pasadena, Texas. After visiting a home where the occupant did not answer the door, the children grew impatient and ran ahead to the next home while Ronald stayed behind. He eventually caught up with the group and produced 5 pixie sticks. At the end of the night, Ronald gave 2 of the sticks to his neighbor's 2 children and 1 to each of his own children. Upon returning home, Ronald gave the 5th pixie stick to a 10-year-old boy who he recognized from his church. Before bed, Timothy Obryan asked to eat some of the candy he collected, choosing the pixie sticks. Timothy was unable to get the powdered candy out of the straw, so his father, Ronald Obryan, loosened the powder. After tasting the candy, Timothy complained that it had a bitter taste. Ronald then gave Timothy some Kool-Aid to wash away the taste. Timothy immediately began to complain that his stomach hurt and ran to the bathroom where he began vomiting and convulsing. Ronald claimed he held Timothy in his arms until his body eventually went limp. Timothy died on the way to the hospital less than an hour after consuming the candy. Police did not initially suspect Ronald of any wrongdoing until Timothy's autopsy revealed that the pixie sticks he consumed were laced with a fatal dose of potassium cyanide. The 5 pixie sticks were recovered by authorities from the other children, none of whom had consumed the candy. All 5 of the pixie sticks had been opened with the top 2 inches refilled with cyanide powder and resealed with a staple. According to a pathologist who tested the pixie sticks, the candy consumed by Timothy contained enough poison to kill 2 adults. Ronald told investigators he could not remember from which house he was given the pixie sticks. Police became suspicious of his excuses because Ronald and his neighbor had only taken their kids to homes on 2 streets because it had been raining. Their suspicions increased after learning that none of the homes visited handed out pixie sticks. After walking the neighborhood with police 3 times, Ronald led them to a home the group had visited, but the occupant did not answer the door. Ronald claimed that he had visited the home before catching up with the group. He said the owner of the home did not turn the lights on, but cracked the door open and handed him 5 pixie sticks. He claimed to have only seen the man's arm and described it as hairy. The home was owned by a man named Courtney Melvin. Melvin was an air traffic controller that did not get home from work until 11 p.m. on Halloween night. Police ruled Melvin out as a suspect when nearly 50 people confirmed that he was in fact at work. As their investigation progressed, police learned that Ronald Obryan was $100,000 in debt. At the time of his arrest, he was suspected of theft at his job at the Texas State Optical and was close to being fired. His car was about to be repossessed, had defaulted on several bank loans, and had already lost his house. Police discovered he had taken out life insurance policies on his children in the months before Timothy's death. In January of 1974, he had taken out $10,000 life insurance policies on both of his children. 1 month before Timothy's death, Ronald took out an additional $20,000 policy on both children. Ronald Obryan's wife maintained that she did not know about the insurance policies taken out on her children's lives. Investigators discovered Ronald Obryan attempted to buy cyanide from a chemical supply store in the days leading up to Halloween. Although police never discovered when or where he bought the poison, he was indicted on 1 count of capital murder and 4 counts of attempted murder. On March 1st of 1984, Ronald Obryan was executed by lethal injection.